Today, we're jumping into a really powerful idea in education, one that's reached millions of kids in Pakistan. It all starts with a simple question. What if a school didn't actually need a school building? We're going to dive into the incredible story of the National Education Foundation, or NEF, an organization built on pure innovation and persistence.
So let's just start with that fundamental challenge. Seriously, think about it. You need to educate millions of children, many in super remote areas. There are no buildings, no infrastructure, sometimes not even proper roads. How in the world do you solve a problem that big?
Well, the answer turned out to be kind of brilliant in its simplicity. You create a huge network of thousands of single-room, single-teacher schools. And get this, they're often set up right inside someone's home or a local community space. This was the genius behind the Basic Education Community School Model, or BECS.
And the engine that powers this entire incredible network? That's the National Education Foundation. So let's break down exactly what it is and how it all works.
Okay, so the NEF is a federal organization, but here's what's so important. It has this crucial dual mandate. Mission number 1, provide basic education to kids who are outside the formal school system. And mission number 2, which is just as important, look after the social welfare of the very teachers who make it all possible.
Their motto is education for all. I mean, that really says it all, doesn't it? It's a direct commitment to a core human right, and it ties right into Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is all about quality education. This isn't just some catchy slogan. It's literally the principle that guides everything they do.
So you might be wondering, how on earth is an organization like this structured to operate all the way from the capital city down to a tiny remote village? Well, it all comes down to its 3-tiered structure. The easiest way to think about it is like this. The top tier, governance, they decide the why, the big picture vision and the policy. Then you have the administration tier, that's the how. These are the permanent staff in the main offices who handle all the budgets and logistics. And finally, you have field operations, that's the who. These are the coordinators and teachers right there on the ground making it all happen. Now, if we take a peek at the administrative side, you'll see a pretty standard government setup. These roles use what's called the Basic Pay Scale, or BPS, which is the system for all federal employees in Pakistan. This just ensures that the core management of the NEF is stable and professional.
But that brings us to a really, really crucial part of this whole story: how the educators themselves are paid. Because for a long time, there was a major difference, a tale of two systems, really, within the NEF.
So on one hand, you had the permanent admin staff. They were on that BPS scale, with full salaries and all the benefits. But on the other hand, you had thousands of community teachers out in the field, and historically, they worked on a contract basis, receiving a much smaller fixed stipend called an honorarium. And that disparity, you can imagine, was a huge challenge for years.
Okay, so let's dive into this number because it represents a massive step forward. As of January 2026, that monthly honorarium for community teachers has been standardized to 37,000 Pakistani rupees. This is huge because it finally aligns their pay with the national minimum wage, giving some much-needed financial stability to these frontline educators.
And listen, compensation is about so much more than just a monthly paycheck. The NEF's Teacher Welfare Fund is an absolutely critical support system. It gives out grants for big life events like marriage, provides financial aid to families if a teacher passes away, offers scholarships for their kids, and even provides retirement pensions and sickness benefits. It's a truly holistic way of looking at teacher welfare.
Let's move to NFF and see how this builds, because this all brings us to the NEF's own story. Its journey has been anything but a straight line. It's really a story of constantly having to adapt to major shifts in Pakistan's political and educational world.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the resilience it shows. It was established back in '94, became an autonomous body in 2002, but its biggest challenge by far came in 2010. The 18th Amendment to the Constitution basically handed control of education over to the provinces, which created a real identity crisis for a federal body like the NNE. And yet, it adapted. And now, looking toward 2026, it's redefining its role again, with a new focus on digital learning and strategic partnerships. So, after 3 decades of navigating all these challenges, what is the real legacy here? Why does the National Education Foundation matter so much? The numbers alone kind of paint the picture, right? We're talking about a network with over 12,000 teachers, managed by 4 administrative wings, that's been doing this for more than 3 decades. It's an institution with a massive, massive footprint.
And this brilliantly illustrates a crucial point, maybe one of its most profound impacts. Around 60% of the students in these community schools are girls. Think about that. By literally bringing the classroom into the village, the ENF has managed to overcome huge cultural barriers, providing an education to girls in really conservative areas who might never have gotten the chance otherwise.
So, the crucial point is, at the end of the day, the UNF functions as an essential bridge. It takes the high-level policy and funding from the federal capital and translates it into real, tangible, on-the-ground education for the country's most isolated and marginalized kids. And that kind of leaves us with one final, big question to think about. The NEF was built on this model of the single-room, in-person school. As it pivots towards digital learning and teleschooling, what's the future for that humble but totally revolutionary concept that brought education to millions? It's a question that really defines the next chapter, not just for the NEF, but for education everywhere.